Hello out there, hockey fans. You're listening to WCBN Sports. We're broadcasting live from Yost Ice Arena on the South Campus of the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor. I'm Eli Sherman alongside Morris Fabry. The Wolverines are taking on the Buckeyes of Ohio State this evening. Last night, the Wolverines won the decision 5-4, a tight one after getting out ahead to a 5-1 lead thanks to a hat trick by Cooper Marody, the sensational sophomore out of Brighton, Michigan. Tonight, for the first time all season, the Wolverines are playing with the same lineup back-to-back evenings. We'll see how this shakes out for them. They, of course, played well for the first two periods and barring two iffy goals at the start of the third period last night, did pretty well. And they'll have to keep that pressure up against a much more successful Buckeye team. The Wolverines come into this game 9-12-2 on the season, 2-6-1-1 in the Big Ten. Ohio State, on the other hand, 12-7-6 overall, 3-5-1-1 in the Big Ten. Morris, what are your thoughts on Michigan's chances in this game against Ohio State?
Well, if they're going to win, I think Michigan's going to have to put up another 5 or 6 spot. Ohio State, one of the best scoring offenses in the country. Michigan, given their defense, is going to surrender some goals. They've just got to keep up.
Jake Slaker on for the opening faceoff. He wins it for the Wolverines, dumps it back into his zone for DeYoung. Over to Ciccone and threads it forward off a stick and into Ohio State zone. Wolverines going left to right as we see it up here in the booth. Ohio State clears the zone. DeYoung near center ice. Forward to Brendan Warren, dumps it in the zone. Ohio State goalie Christian Fry gets his first save of the night, knocking that one aside. Ohio State settles it behind their own net. Skating out from behind, Matt Miller threads it forward to Jobst. Jobst loses it to Lockwood in Michigan zone. Lockwood skating up the right side. He loses it off his skate. Ohio State dumps it into the zone, collected by Luke Martin. Luke Martin back behind his own net to Sam Piazza in the far corner. Schuart on the boards, harassed by two Ohio State players. They skate away with it, pass it across the crease, is intercepted by Michigan and cleared out of the zone by Evan Allen. Entry pass back into the zone. It's a free puck behind the Michigan net, knocked aside by the Wolverines and over to the far boards. Winborg in behind the net, tries to pick it up, quick shot in the slot. That coming off the stick of David Gust. It went up high, ringed around the boards and out of the zone. Coming back in, LaRock. He fires it in, goes for a change. Wells tried to find a man. His pass goes out of the zone, collected by Moser near his own blue line. Moser settles things, gets over to Weiss on the far boards. Wolverines keep it in Ohio State zone, but they don't keep the puck. Ohio State regains possession. Knocked off the puck by Dexter Danks. Over to Marody in the corner, skating around with it. Cycling in behind the net. Danks and Sanchez. Danks loses it to Moser. Moser clears it out of the zone. Skating up the left side. Weiss, he dumps it into the zone, loses the puck. Levine settles it down behind his own net, hands it over to Sanchez. Sanchez nearly cleared, but kept in nicely by Ohio State. And now Danks finally gets it out for Marody. Marody down the ice, icing waved off. Matt Miller beat him there, though, and disrupted the play. Puck cleared out by Girard. Girard across center ice, trying to take it himself, intercepted by Ciccone and knocked off balance. Girard getting the puck into the Michigan zone now. He loses it. Merrill picks it up on the near boards. Across to Porrico, skating across center ice. Quick shot from the blue line, patted aside by Fry. Pastujov in behind the Ohio State net. He loses it to LaRock. LaRock tries to clear, but DeYoung picks it up. Back to LaRock, skating near the end line. Unable to get the clear. Porricos dumps it back in. Puck paddled aside by an Ohio State defenseman. Quick shot from DeYoung at the point as he picked it up off the glass into the chest of Fry. And we've hit the first stoppage here in the first period. Wolverines and Ohio State 0-0. 3 minutes gone in this first period of play.
Really sloppy hockey game going on so far today. Both sides have had potential odd man rush opportunities go to waste because players couldn't corral simple passes, kicking it a little too far, a little too casually. These teams need to wake up.
Jake Slaker wins the draw, back to Piazza at the point. Warren, quick shot, patted aside off the right pad. Chris Fry with the quick cat-like reflexes to save that goal. Luke Martin paddled it out of his zone. Will Lockwood coming up the other side. He has the puck on the near boards. Knocked aside by Moser. Nice defense there from the Ohio State defender. Ohio State skating out of their own zone with the puck. Forward to Moser. He loses the puck as Lockwood checks him hard into the boards. Luke Martin collects it for Michigan. Forward near center ice. Warren tried to dump it into Ohio State zone, but it's caught and set down by Moser. Jobst fires one into the Michigan zone. Schilke a shot. He was off balance as he took it, fell over, and it went aside into the near corner for Winborg. Winborg to Allen. Allen trying to get a clear. Back to Winborg. Winborg finally gets it out to Stewart near the Michigan blue line. Dumps it forward. Schilke picks it up near his blue line, the Ohio State side. Evan Allen gathers a loose puck and fires it in. Rings around the boards. Just kept in at the blue line, but a nice play by Griffin Luce, but it falls to an Ohio State stick and they clear it away. Stewart on the near boards. Joshua takes it away. Skating in now, Ohio State. That's Griffin, or rather Gus, excuse me. Gus takes a shot. It's knocked high upside and down to the near boards. Puck picked up in the slot by Joshua. Taken down from behind. Nick Boca called for what will be a trip, and now both players are going to go to the box after a few extracurriculars. Boca took a nice little push on Joshua.
Yeah, Joshua chopped at his ankles with his stick there. That opportunity for the Buckeyes, Winborg obviously had to trip up his man to stop a good opportunity from the slot, but it was set up by poor spacing by the Wolverines. Winborg and a defender, I think it was Stewart actually, were both mashed up against the boards, and so when they lost the puck, the defense had to compensate and never could quite get organized.
So just to recap it, Winborg called for the trip on Joshua as Joshua skated into the slot with the puck, and then after Joshua had fallen down, when Joshua had fallen down, he was trying to get up, and Nick Boca pushed him down to the ice, and then as Joshua stood up, he took a slash at Boca, so both Boca and Joshua go into the box
well, it looks
for
like
offsetting penalties, whereas Winborg is in the box for that initial trip, and so Michigan a 5-on-4. 2 minutes on the clock for the Winborg penalty, and then the other two will get out of the box at the first stoppage after 2 minutes.
I'm glad you had your head on straight. I thought it was a 4-on-4 coming up.
Fiddler wins it for Ohio State back near their point. Meyer takes a shot, knocked aside by Warren in behind the Michigan net. Schilke skating out on the near boards. Meyer collects it at the far point. Over to Schilke, near point. Shot in behind the net, picked up by Fiddler. Fiddler behind the net. Fiddler trying to find a man out in front. Jobst takes a shot, Schilke, now Jobst with it in the far corner. Over to Gust. Gust loses the puck. Warren able to paddle it out and get the clear for Michigan. They go for a wholesale change. Ohio State will get a couple fresh legs on the ice as well. Check that. It looked like a miscommunication. One man had come out, ended up going back to the bench. Ohio State regains the zone. In behind the net, Jobst. Michigan clears the puck. Not quite a nice athletic play by Meyer to keep it in on the blue line. Now Jobst over to Schilke. Schilke, a shot. He scores. Schilke, a nice one-timer coming from Jobst. And Ohio State leads 1-0. Schilke going top shelf from that near point.
Heck of a drive from near the left point, but the goal of any power play offense is to extend the defense, to create gaps in the middle, to create shooting opportunities. And on that one, Sam Piazza got stretched a little too far. He dove in, and when his man got around him and passed to Schilke at the left, I think it drew a Lockwood off of the man on the right point, well, his right, Ohio State's left, and that's why the shot was wide open.
And Michigan will go back to even strength. That is a power play goal. Winborg comes back on. Of course, Boca and Joshua still serving their offsetting penalties for the previous play. Ohio State loses the draw. Michigan dumps it into Ohio State zone. Michigan trying to regain possession in there as it rattled around, pinballing. Trying to hit a puck out of the air and into the net was Sanchez, but he couldn't quite get his stick on it. Falls into the far corner on Ohio State's side of the ice. Dexter Danks into the corner. Skating around back towards the point. Threads it. DeYoung. DeYoung is shot off the blocker and up off the high glass. Filters out to Ciccone at the point. Ciccone forward to Danks. Danks forward to Marody. Marody, he taps a shot. That one knocked aside. Into the slot for Slaker. Slaker to Danks. Marody a shot. That one aside. Soft pad save. Ciccone just keeps it in. And finally, Ohio State able to get a clear, but the pressure isn't off for long as Michigan fires it back in, and now they give Ohio State a yield as both teams go for a change. Ohio State cleared it down into Michigan zone, now behind the Michigan net. Sam Piazza picks it up forward to Allen. Allen skating out with it. 2-on-2 for Michigan. Allen dumps it in the zone. Stewart picks it up, drops it back to Allen. Allen in front, nobody there to send it home. Piazza back across to Stewart through the slot. Stewart couldn't handle it. Dumps it in behind the net for Winborg. Winborg, unable to keep a handle on it, loses the puck to Ohio State. Ohio State clears the puck out. Gerard forward to Miller. Miller on the near circle. Miller a pass through. Nobody there in the slot to put it home. Moser a shot. Pad save by Levine. And we've hit the under 15 here in the first period. The Wolverines trail 1-0 after that goal on the near side by Moser.
Now, Chris Fry has got to be a little relieved right now. Got a brief respite from Michigan. Really applied a lot of good pressure after allowing the goal. Sam Piazza, not a great game so far. That possession where Michigan had kind of a numbers advantage, pushed their way into the Ohio State zone, had the defense off balance. You know, when you have that speed advantage, you have a counterattack on, the defense gets a little discombobulated because their ideal position is to be able to kind of go in any direction on a whim, but when they're all going down the ice with speed, it's hard for them to cut back. And Michigan got some good shots, some good pass plays, but then Piazza tried to force one across ice to Max Stewart. It got undone, and now we're in Michigan's defensive zone. And I saw a guy in the student section I used to go to class with.
Always a common sighting here at Yost Ice Arena. I do want to correct myself. I just said that Moser was the one with the goal. It was actually Schilke for Ohio State. Michigan wins the draw. Will Lockwood skating into Ohio State zone. He takes a shot off the stick of Moser himself and out of play. It will be an offensive zone faceoff for the Wolverines to the left side, the glove hand side of Christian Fry.
Lockwood's got a lot of speed to burn, and while that's not exactly a high percentage look, sometimes the keeper not expecting a shot from that kind of an angle, it's good speculative try by Will Lockwood.
Jake Slaker, the man in there for the faceoff for the Wolverines. He's the leading goal scorer on the season, but talking about Lockwood, he's perhaps the more dynamic player. He was drafted in the third round of last year's draft by Vancouver. Boca from the near point, fires one in, knocked down by a stick of Ohio State. That's Miller. Ohio State trying to clear, dispossessed in the near corner. Boca picking it up. Boca to Slaker, back to Boca behind the net. Boca loses it to Miller once again. Yobs tries to clear it out, but Warren's right there to pick it up. Fires a puck on net softly, and Ohio State picks it up in the slot and regains possession. Schilke drops it back for Healy. Healy settling things behind his own net, waiting on Ohio State to complete the change. Michigan went for a change as well. Clearing it out is Yobst down the ice, and icing is just called. Griffin Luce beating the Ohio State attacker David Gus down there, and Michigan will be able to change, but not too much of an issue for Ohio State given that they just completed a change. Wolverines going with the fourth line, Porikos, Pastiob, and Merrill. Two freshmen and a junior. You could say it's the two kids in a goat line, college hockey style. Stephen Merrill loses the draw.
I don't get where the goat comes from, Eli.
Well, there's a tradition in Red Wings hockey that the fourth line is a veteran and playing with two younger guys, first or second year players. So you get two kids and a goat. Kid being the pun on a child goat.
I see. All right. Took me a while.
Ohio State clears the puck out of their zone. Yobs dumps it forward from his own red line, gets hit at the bench as he went there for a change. Wolverines dump it back into the Ohio State zone. Settling it behind his own net is Stork and trying to clear it out. LaRock. Michigan picks it up right on the blue line. Poricos fires it in. Michigan goes for a change. That fourth line doesn't spend too much time out on the ice. Now skating into the zone. Marody, a shot. He scores! Cooper Marody coming in off the change, and he absolutely botches the celebration. Tried to jump onto the glass and fell over, coming up short as he got to the boards, but it doesn't much matter. He scores the goal as he skates into the slot, picks up a loose puck, and fires right off the bat. 1-1 Wolverines and Ohio State here at Yost on Saturday night.
The timing all off for the Buckeyes on a turnover in their own zone. The defenseman kind of caught between, do they challenge for the puck at the point, or do they allow the oncoming Marody to pick it up and skate with it? I thought he took himself out of his shooting lane, but when he couldn't go any farther to the right, he snapped it over the glove side shoulder of Chris Fry.
And Cooper Marody, that's his fourth goal in 2 nights. He's having a absolutely dominant weekend. The hat trick last night and the first goal here tonight. Ohio State wins the draw back into their own zone. Clear it out. Sam Piazza collecting it down behind the Michigan net. Icing was waved off on a slow puck. Dexter Dink skates out with it to Marody. Marody into the slot. His shot deflected and a hard hit on the follow through, the stick hitting the ankle of an Ohio State player. Whistle called as Levine covered it up on the other end, but heading back to the bench very, very slowly is Matt Joyo. As I mentioned, Marody took a slap shot. The puck in the the puck in the stick hit Joyo right in the ankle, so the puck didn't really go anywhere, but Joyo clearly in a lot of pain as he got to the Ohio State bench, now standing up and limping as he does so. Hope to see him back on the ice pretty soon. Hope that he's all right. Michigan wins the draw in their own zone. Nick Boca skating out with it. Forward to Evan Allen on the near boards. Hit hard and knocked off the puck by Matt Miller. Excellent play there by the defenseman. Winborg settles it to Allen. Allen, a one-timer. Up high into the air. Covered by Fry. Fry dropped it. Fry tried to keep the puck in his glove, but couldn't hang on. Puck still free in the near corner. Michigan missed a stellar opportunity there. Puck not moving in the near corner. Winborg and Allen there for the Wolverines. Miller and Healy for Ohio State. Puck finally free. Allen pushed down and the net is knocked off center as Winborg tried to cut around it. The skate got caught up in the net and the whistle blows. It'll be an offensive zone faceoff for the Wolverines.
Chippy game so far. Evan Allen was sequestered up against the boards for about 20 seconds straight, and the Ohio State player behind him didn't really see who it was just consistently giving him a one-handed shove in the back, as much as he could get away with without a ref, paying attention to it, until finally the puck was freed.
Yeah, and it kind of surprising to see there. Normally in professional hockey, you'll see the referees will call that play dead if the puck isn't moving, and they'll just give it an offensive zone faceoff for the attacking team, whichever team it is. But in that case, they elect to let that play continue. That tends to be how it works in college hockey. Looking down at the Ohio State side of the ice, Matt Joyo, the injured player, just went out off the bench, skated around a little bit, try and see how that ankle will hold up. For a second, I thought he was going to head to the locker room, but he's now getting back onto the bench. Maybe let some of the sting wear off a little bit.
I want to talk about
come back into the game if he's feeling all right later on. But for right now, they're playing with just 5 of their 6 defenders.
Looks like I'm not going to get time to talk about what I wanted to talk about. Game's about to get back going. 9:32 to go. Michigan, Ohio State, 1 apiece.
Slaker wins the draw back to Saccone. Saccone, a quick shot up high and over the net. Will Lockwood settles in on the far boards into Slaker. Slaker into the corner for Warren. Warren harassed off the puck by 2 Ohio State defenders. Picked up by DeYoung. DeYoung, a shot into the chest of Fry. Whistle called there. Nice quick reaction by Fry, swallowing that one.
these Michigan defensemen never afraid to get in on the tag. DeYoung's already had a couple of tries from short range, tough angles still, but you like to see them getting engaged, getting the shots on Fry. Eventually, you apply that kind of pressure, it'll yield good results.
Slaker line stays out there. Lockwood and Warren, Ciccone and DeYoung. Slaker wins it. Quick shot off the stick of Lockwood over the net. Settled down by Ohio State and carried out of the zone. Yobs coming with it. Knocked off the puck by Warren. Gets a tap forward in behind for Fiddler. Yobs collects it. Ciccone racing it to Schilke. Schilke back to Healy. Healy dumps it in. Yobs behind the net to Fiddler. Fiddler looking for a man. Tries the wraparound. Shutting the door is Levine. Wolverines pick it up behind their own net. Settle it and carry it out. Lockwood coming on the near side. Lockwood into the zone. Loses the puck with a fancy stick grab. Couldn't quite keep the handle on the puck. Gets a hit on Healy as he heads towards the bench. Ohio State clears it out. Fiddler dumped it in. Piazza will pick it up as Ohio State goes for a change. Michigan just completed one. Sam Piazza forward. Merrill did not touch the puck as it passed by him on the way into the Ohio State zone, and Michigan called for an icing.
Piazza couldn't hit that long pass, but he kind of was forced to get it out of there because he lost the puck initially, had to stop his momentum, and Ohio State closed down on all the passing lanes available to him. As such, sloppy pass, icing, no line change. Ohio State gets a chance in Michigan's zone.
Ohio State wins the draw. Gust loses it. Merrill coming forward. Torikos dumps it into the Ohio State zone. Settled down behind the net by the goalie, Christian Fry. Ohio State picks it up and knocks it out of the zone. Joshua knocked off the puck by Stephen Merrill. Picking it up at center ice is LaRoque coming the other way for Ohio State. Shot in. Joshua scores on the rebound. David Gust for Ohio State took a shot from the far boards. Went off the pad of Levine, and Levine couldn't cover his own rebound, and Ohio State buried it.
That's got to be an absolute breakdown in communication for the Wolverines. There's no way a man like Gus should be left wide open at the right point to skate in, throw it in front of the net. Also, Michigan not getting the body on the Ohio State player up in front. And, good job by Joshua to corral a quick-moving puck, a bouncing puck, but that's as easy a chance he's going to get.
And it wasn't a breakaway. It certainly was.
No, it was
there were players in the way, or in the area, I should say, and Michigan just couldn't get the coverage. That's been the story all year defensively for these Wolverines. Michigan loses the draw. 7:45 here to go in the first period. Wolverines trail 2-1 against Ohio State. Two teams battling for it near center ice. Weiss for Ohio State carries it forward into the zone. Harassed off the puck by Boca. Boca kicking it with his skate. Gets it out to Marodi behind the net. Hand pass called on Michigan. Boca having a few words with the referee down there on the far side. Referees tonight in this game, Brian Aaron and Colin Cronfarst. Linesman Joseph Hutek and Brett DeRozier. Marodi loses the draw. Lazinski for Ohio State dumps it in behind the net. And a penalty coming up. Interference called. I believe you're right, Cooper Marodi, the man heading to the box, but
yeah, it's a bad
it is indeed
take right there. Marodi kind of had his momentum going forward off the draw because it was hovering around the circle, not a clean win for the Buckeyes. Maybe started moving toward the point ever so slightly. It was a bad read, and once the puck got shoveled back behind him and his man had him beat to the boards, went for the trip, tried to play the body, and was sloppy about it. Poor awareness and really a penalty he didn't need to take.
Wolverines on the penalty kill once again. Ohio State wins the draw. Joshua back to Gust. Gust forward to Schilke. Schilke at the near point, skating in with it. In behind the net for Joshua. Swings around to Jobst. Jobst loses it to Ciccone. Fired out by Brendan Warren. Coming the other way, Max Schubert on the forecheck. No production there as Fry just passes it forward to Schilke. Ohio State calmly carries it out of there. Meyer fires it forward. In behind the net. Jobst picks it up on the near board. Schilke back forward to Jobst. Jobst in the corner. Back to Schilke. Schilke around. to Gus. Gus on the far corner. Gus into the circle. Forward to Joshua. Joshua couldn't get a stick on it. Puck falls in behind the net. Gus loses it, and Warren fires it out once again. Wolverines go for a change. 6:24 here in the first period. 1 minute remaining on the penalty.
Really nice 1-2 between Schilke and Youst on the near side boards. You can tell those players have a feel for each other, and it created an opportunity, fortunately, for the Wolverines. Warren able to get clear.
Healy taking his sweet time clearing the puck for Ohio State, and Luke Martin intercepted a pass and fired it right back into Ohio State zone. Another 10 seconds will come off the clock on this power play. 40 seconds to go. Weiss skating forward. In forward to Lazinski, back to Weiss. Healy at the blue line. To Miller. Miller mishandled it and had to paddle it forward instead of taking a one-timer. Weiss on the near boards to Lazinski. Weiss. Weiss into the circle. Lazinski in the corner. Lazinski loses it. Piazza picks it up and fires it around the boards and out of the zone. 12 seconds remaining here on the penalty. Wolverines very close to killing it off. Ohio State still in their own zone. Forward, Weiss. Marody comes out of the box, even strength. In behind the net, Watila. Boca picks it up, gets it out for Marody. Marody, fresh legs coming out of the box, and he clears the zone. LaRock fires it quickly back in. Levine settles it down behind his own net and hands it off to Boca. Boca over to his line mate, Luce. Luce to Stewart down ice. Stewart just tapped it to wave off the icing. Evan Allen picks it up in the near board. Quick shot off the glove of Fry. Picked up by Winborg. Winborg loses it on the near corner. Evan Allen picks it up and skates in behind. Luce taking a shot, from the crease as it had filtered out there off a body and knocked aside. Ohio State skates out with it. The Buckeyes from their own zone, forward to Miller. Miller, quick shot. Kearney picks up the rebound on the near boards. Hit hard into the boards, but he keeps his feet and keeps the puck. Pushed off by two Wolverines. Meyer on the near point, settling things. Over to his line mate. Quick one-timer. Rebound attempt by Miller. That one's aside. Now Miller in behind the net. Miller skates out. Healy. Healy settles it at the blue line. Harassed off the puck by Danks, and it's knocked out of the zone. Boca coming the other way. Boca can't keep a handle on it, but Danks nearly does. It filters into the far corner of Ohio State's zone. Danks in behind the net. Around to Will Lockwood. Lockwood on the near boards dumps it back to Danks behind the net. Danks to Marody. Marody back to Danks. Marody skates out with it. Into the slot. Intercepted by Ohio State. Cleared out of the zone. This will be icing. Ohio State, a long shift. They'll have to keep their men on the ice. Joyo came back out. That was the injured player. Came back out on the ice. The ref thought that he was going for a change, but he's just looking to keep that ankle loose. Again, took a stick to a slap shot stick to the ankle, went off gingerly. Wolverines win the draw. DeYoung from the high slot. Merrill, one-timer. Shot knocked down by a body in the slot and cleared out of the zone. DeYoung picks it up, forward to Merrill. Merrill unable to get there on time, and Healy paddles it away and out of the Ohio State zone. Now knocked back into the OSU zone and settled down behind the net. Wolverines pick it up. Pastujov, a one-timer. And that one settled down by Fry and knocked aside. Miller in his own corner. That's Matt Miller. Matt Miller clears it out. A hard hit on the near board. Stork going down. Wolverines from behind their own net. Will Lockwood forward to Pastujov. Pastujov across the blue line over to Ward. Ward a shot. That one aside. Pastujov tried to get the rebound, but it's covered up by Fry, and now some fighting going on behind the Ohio State net after the whistle. We'll see if any penalties are called. There looked to be a punch in there. 2:33 remaining here in the first period. We've hit the final TV timeout. Wolverines trail 2-1 here in Ann Arbor to the Buckeyes of Ohio State.
It was Pastujov exchanging some kindly words with Sasha Larocque, the sophomore out of Calgary, Alberta. Of course, Pastujov fluent in Larocque's native tongue, French, so could probably get away with saying more than he normally could, in other circumstances.
I don't know Pastujov personally, but I think it's a little bit of an overreach to just assume that he knows French. Maybe you're referring to French in the pardon my French meaning of the word.
We'll leave the interpretation up to our listeners.
Fair enough. I can get behind that. 2:33 remaining here in the first period. Wolverines trail 2-1 to Ohio State. You're listening to WCBN Sports broadcast of University of Michigan hockey live from Yost Ice Arena on the South Campus of the University of Michigan in Ann Arbor, Michigan, the greatest university on the planet. Wolverines win the draw, and a shot goes in. I am absolutely stunned that went in. Sam Piazza, a seeing eye puck from the far point, and a slow reaction by Christian Fry, a slow reaction by Eli Sherman, your broadcaster, to pick up on that one. It looked like it went off a stick in front, and it really just confused everybody on the ice.
No, it didn't even go off a stick. There was traffic in front of the net, but that's just a lazy float by Sam Piazza that I think Fry just never had eyes on the puck.
And Fry screened pretty nicely by two of his own defenders. He'll have to have a few words with them in the locker room. A hard hit near center ice. Will Lockwood leveling Jobst. Wolverines direct the puck into the Ohio State zone. Ohio State carries it out. Jobst the one doing the work. Michigan settles it as it comes into their own zone. Piazza forward to Lockwood. Lockwood skating with it into the zone, into the near corner. Loses it. Brendan Warren tried to regain the puck, but it's taken by Moser and cleared out. Sam Piazza dumps it back into the Ohio State zone. Covered up by Fry as two Wolverines coming off the change skated in pretty quickly and made Fry a bit nervous.
Mason Jobst on an 11-game point streak, absolutely leveled by Will Lockwood as they replayed on the video board, just shy of center ice. I'm thankful Mike Downing isn't still on this Michigan team because he would have killed someone by the end of this game, the way these two teams are playing.
Michael Downing, one of the punishers now in the Florida Panthers organization. Ohio State wins the draw, clears it out. Down ice pass intercepted by the Wolverines and knocked back into Ohio State zone. Quickly gathered and carried out by Gordy Meyer. Lazinski on the far boards into Michigan zone. Larocque back into the corner. Settled down behind the net. The Wolverines just able to get a clear and a trip coming up. Schuart tried to get away as the puck had cleared out of the zone, tried to get a breakaway going and was brought down from behind. Going to the box, number 3, Sasha Larocque, check that. And the Wolverines going to their first power play of the night, now with a bit of momentum after just tying the game up at 2. 1:16 remaining to work with here in the first period, and then the penalty, of course, if they don't score, will carry over into the second session. Slaker wins the draw. Marody thought about a shot, instead filters it over to Piazza, back to Marody into the near corner. Piazza high slot to Marody, near corner. In front to Danks. Danks! Over to Slaker, and Slaker buries it! Slaker, the open side of the net, put it top shelf, a wide open net. And they didn't need any of those 2 minutes of penalty time, just 15 seconds on the power play, and the Wolverines have the 3-2 lead. Jake Slaker, a marvelous finish off of the feed by Dexter Danks.
I am blown away by the pass from Dexter Danks. It's a man not usually known for his hands, and I don't even know if it was intentional. He might have just been trying to bring it to his forehand, and I think he was, but it effectively was a blind pass across the crease to a wide open Slaker.
Yeah, looking at the replay, Dexter Danks tried to swing it around to his forehand and had the puck knocked off his stick, and then Slaker right there to bury it. But, we'll give him credit for We'll call it a no-look pass by Dexter Danks behind the back to set up that goal.
Better to be lucky than good, Eli.
Better to be lucky than good indeed. Ohio State with it near center ice, forward into the zone. Joshua, wide open net. Unable to bury it was Gust. Falls in behind the Michigan net. DeYoung picks it up and skates out with it forward to Winborg. 3-on-2 for the Wolverines. Evan Allen into the zone, trying to find a man, takes a shot up high. Short gathers it in the far corner. 19 to go here in the first period. Wolverines looking for another goal to add to their lead. Cleared out of the zone, 13 to go. Quickly back into the zone, Winborg. He doesn't have any help, takes a quick shot off the glove of Christian Fry. Falls into the corner. Winborg looking for a man out in front. And that'll do it for the first period of play here in Ann Arbor. A electric first period from these two teams. 5 goals between the two of them. The Wolverines fell behind 1-0, evened it up, fell behind 2-1, and then scored 2 unanswered to pull ahead 3-2. For Morris Fabry, I'm Eli Sherman. We'll be right back in about 15 minutes with the second period of play from Ann Arbor. Stay tuned. Hello, hockey fans, and welcome back in to Yost Ice Arena. You're listening to WCBN Sports. I'm Eli Sherman alongside Morris Fabry. We're live from Yost Ice Arena on the South Campus of the University of Michigan. The Wolverines lead the Buckeyes 3-2 at the end of the first period. We're here for the start of the second period of play. The Wolverines will be moving right to left as we see it up here, perched in our lovely press box. Ohio State, of course, will be going left to right.
Might be a lovely press box to you, Eli. I got this giant column metal obelisk type thing in my way.
That giant column metal obelisk type thing is what's keeping the roof over your head and not collapsing on top of your head.
Doesn't make for a good view.
The Wolverines lose the opening draw forward into the Michigan zone, takes the puck, or is Ohio State taking the puck, tripping all over my words, unlike these skaters flying across the ice. Ohio State down the ice, Schilke into Michigan zone, unable to handle it, loses it behind the Michigan net. Clearing it out was DeYoung, unable to get it all the way out though. He recovers it in behind his own net, tried to clear it out again, kept in by Fiddler for Ohio State. Miguel Fiddler from Medina, Minnesota. 6 foot, 198-pound sophomore. Ciccone still trying to clear it for Michigan. They've opened up a little bit of space now and finally get the clear. Schuart dumping it forward across center ice. DeYoung settles it near the red line, dumps it into Ohio State zone. Christian Fry, the goalie, settled it down, knocked it aside. Joshua picks it up near center ice. Has a man coming forward, that's Gordy Meyer. Meyer in behind the net, tries to find a man in front, deflected by a Wolverine stick and carried out by Winborn. Forward to Evan Allen, across the blue line, into the zone, quick shot into the chest and held on to by Christian Fry.
I've watched Evan Allen a fair deal. He's been on the ice a lot, obviously. I feel like he'd be better served with a little more patience, a little more cerebral play. I think a lot of the times he's trying to go toward the net. But like in that situation, I feel like he would have been better off sending it on the ice. He had Max Schuart streaking toward the goal mouth. You know, try to cause a little chaos instead of just throwing an easy save on Chris Fry. Earlier on, I also thought there was, an open Joseph Ciccone on a 4-on-3 rush. Trailing would have made a good pass. Instead, he just kind of, gave away possession.
Wolverines lose the draw in the offensive zone. Still in the zone, though, as Moser settles it behind his own net, clears it out now. Forward for Witala. He loses it near center ice. Cooper Marody quickly skating back in. Quick shot, deflected up high, and bounces out of the zone. Slaker couldn't get a hand on it. Check that, Sanchez couldn't get a hand on it. And it falls out of the zone and back into Michigan side of the ice. Moser from the far point, shot, bouncing puck aside to the left of Levine in net. Filters into the corner, now behind the Ohio State net. Carried out in front, onto the stick of an Ohio State man in front, unable to bury it. That was Matthew Weiss in front. Michigan clears the puck out. Slow-moving puck picked up by Ohio State. Now coming back in is Marody. Marody settles it down on the circle to Danks. Danks skating into the circle, into the slot. Sanchez, Boca, unable to get a handle on it. Falls behind the net. Michigan's forwards going for a change, the second half of a change. And their offense loses a little bit of momentum. Danks picks it up on the far boards. Threaded it forward, but no one was there to pick it up behind the Ohio State net. Miller fires it out for Ohio State. Icing called as Miller fired it from the near circle on his own side of the ice all the way down to Michigan's end. So Miller and company will remain on the ice for a few moments. 17:07 remaining here in the second period. You're listening to WCBN Sports. Eli Sherman and Morris Fabry live from Yost Ice Arena. Wolverines leading 3-2. Pastujov loses the draw, but Porikos keeps it in. Boca, an aggressive play to keep it in on the far boards. Shot coming from Merrill, knocked up high off the glass, picked up by an Ohio State man behind the net. Taken out of the zone, quickly fired back in, and Michigan is called for offside. Stephen Merrill, the man touching it up inappropriately.
I want to talk about a possession earlier where Boca did get a contested shot from the slot. Dexter Danks, I think, cost Michigan a more serious scoring opportunity by letting the puck stagnate on his stick in the slot. Got to have quick puck movement throughout if you want to capitalize against this Ohio State team.
Ohio State wins the draw, skating in with speed is Meyer. Meyer in behind the net, couldn't find an entry path into the slot, loses the puck in the corner. Ohio State fighting for it there. They regain possession. LaRock at the point, knocked off the puck, but a penalty coming to Michigan. Porikos, I believe, getting called for a slash, and now some extracurriculars as Kevin Miller gets in a few cross checks before going to the bench. We'll see what the refs do to sort this out. Porikos certainly going to the box for a slash. Seems to be that everybody else is going to remain on the ice. No penalties.
And just like Cooper Marodi's penalty earlier, it was he had his momentum going against him, the Ohio State player. I think it was LaRock who he slashed. Had him beat because of some lazy defense, not really committing hard enough to the puck, and a penalty he didn't need to commit, but got frustrated with himself, and too much body, too much stick equals 2 minutes in the sin bin.
Michigan, the fourth penalty of the night. Third power play for Ohio State. In behind the net, unable to get one home with Schilke. Fires it out to Meyer at the point. Settles it down, over to Schilke. Now to Jobst on the other point. He loses it, and it deflects off of his body and out of the zone. Now Sanchez coming the other way, a one-on-one. Drops it to Warren. Warren, a shot! That one ringed off the post and wide. Nearly got the shorthanded goal. Sanchez goes to the bench for a change. The Wolverines aggressive here on the penalty kill.
I love that from Sanchez. Brilliant, brilliant pass.
Puck fired in by Ohio State. Slowly moved on to the stick and glove.
You know, you're on the
Hayden Levine. He stops it and covers it up for the save. Sorry, Morris.
Yeah, it's fine. Back to that play. You know, Sanchez one-on-one on a penalty kill. You know, normally players don't have the presence of mind to slow down and look for the trailer. He did, shielding the puck with his back, dropped it off to Warren. As good of a one-time chance as you're going to have, and he was just a couple inches from clearing that right side pad of Christian Fry.
1:13 left on this penalty kill. A whistle there as Lazinski gets kicked out of the faceoff. Looks like Witala will be the man going in his place. Michigan wins the draw back into their own corner. Picked up by Schuart. Weak clear attempt, and it's kept in by Healy. Healy forward to Weiss. Weiss loses the puck. A nice stick play defensively with the poke check by Slaker. Slaker forward to Schuart. Schuart fires into the zone. Slaker out on offense, shorthanded, loses the puck behind the net. Michigan's other three guys back defending. Weiss forward into the zone behind the net, trying to find a man. Lazinski picks it up. Back to Healy. Over to Joyo. Joyo back on the ice finally after missing the better part of that first period, an ankle injury. Michigan clears the zone. Quickly back in is Lazinski. Lazinski along the near boards. In behind the net, forward to Witala. He can't put it home. Michigan clears. Brendan Warren doing an excellent job defensively on the penalty kill tonight. He has had the lion's share of the clearances for the Wolverines. LaRock fires it in, rings around the boards. Picked up by Winborg in his own slot. Now Michigan has the man coming out of the box. 3-on-2. Lockwood had to hold up. They lose the momentum. He still has the puck skating along the far boards. Boca a one-timer. Ohio State recovers. Gerard skating out of his own zone. Gerard across center ice, dumps it into the Michigan zone, into the near corner. Loose, picks it up, drops it for his compadre. Cleared out, but LaRock dropped it and fired it back in before Ohio State could clear the zone, and offsides is called on Sasha LaRock. We've hit the under 15 here in the second period. The Wolverines lead 3-2. A lot cleaner play so far here in the second period. Michigan, an excellent penalty kill there several clearances and a couple of shorthanded opportunities to score.
Yeah, it's a little less sloppier here in this period. I think the players are starting to hit their stride just from a mechanical point of speaking. You know, there's less guys just kind of tripping and falling all over. There was a lot of that in the first period. Michigan skaters especially tripping over each other, rotating to the wrong spots, getting caught out of position. A little less of that going on. It's been a fun back and forth hockey game.
Dakota Joshua and Adam Winborg in for the faceoff. Winborg wins it for the Wolverines, back to Boca in his own zone. Boca forward to Allen. Allen can't hold on, though. Ohio State skates back in with it. Gust in on the net. Into the chest of Levine. Nearly mishandled it. Looked like it was going to be a 5-hole goal, but quickly got the pads down just in time to keep the puck out of the net, and this game at a 1-goal lead for the Wolverines.
You and I can both attest from broomball experience. It's not as easy as it looks to keep those wickets closed.
Absolutely true. Morris and I, both seasoned veterans in the broomball game, playing right here on this ice at Yost Ice Arena, Michigan Intramural Sports. As serious as it gets, the Wolverines called for an icing as they tried to clear it out of their own zone. They'll come all the way back down, but not much harm done as both teams just got a change off of the stoppage. Also had a TV timeout to get a bit of rest. Marody in on the draw, he loses it. Joyo, high slot into Stork. Stork mishandles, and the Wolverines pick it up. Marody tries to clear it out. Stork picks it up, knocks it into the slot where Boca picks it up and clears it out. Now Marody coming the other way. He has a bit of a breakaway, but unable to get the angle, and things are even up. Ohio State dispossesses him of the puck and clears it out. Griffin loose, trying to knock it in. Marody picks it up on the blue line. Over to Sanchez. Sanchez! The open net! He scores! Cooper Marody, 2 points on the night, getting the feeder there to Sanchez. And Sanchez absolutely textbook to bury that one. 4-2 Wolverines.
A total wonder by Matt Joyo on defense. Sanchez passed it way out in front of Cooper Marody, an errant touch, but it trickled through the legs of Joyo into a streaking Marody. Should have been a turnover for the Wolverines, turned into a 2-on-1. Marody made the right pass at the right time, drawing out the goalie because you got to pay attention to his shot given how hot he's been lately. And as you said it, open net, easy goal for Sanchez. The Wolverines add to their lead, they double it.
Cooper Marody, a 2015 draft pick for the Philadelphia Flyers, playing like a first-round draft pick tonight. And last night, 3 goals last night, a goal and an assist here so far tonight. That was a beautiful vision play. And now Will Lockwood, a breakaway coming the other way. He shoots. It's off the boards behind the net. Quick shot by Brendan Warren. That one's aside. Buckeyes go with a goalie change. Matt Tompkins in now. And a hard hit to the boards. Will Lockwood is down. He is not getting up. Holding his head, a whistle blows. Will Lockwood likely will be leaving this game. He is very slow to get up. A hard hit. Michigan student section. And now Wolverines trying to take a slash at Miguel Fiddler, the man responsible for the hit. A couple of men from the bench taking swings at him, and now the men still remaining on the ice have congregated beneath us on the near boards. Will Lockwood still hasn't gotten to the bench. He's standing, being kept up by the trainer there.
Looks like Fiddler escorted to the sin bin for his hit on Lockwood in front of the bench. A lot of bodies flying toward those boards. 2 Michigan players, one of them being Lockwood. The other, I think, might have been Slaker and Fiddler there. Looked like a healthy hit, but judging by Lockwood's reaction, Fiddler probably got too high. Got a good chunk of his head. Hard to tell. I don't think they're going to show a replay up top.
Likely a boarding penalty coming up.
I think they're going to review this for a potential game misconduct.
And it looks like Josh Healy is also heading to the box for Ohio State, as is Joseph Ciccone for the Wolverines. Yeah. Those likely offsetting penalties due to the pushing and shoving that happened after the play Will Lockwood is sitting on the Michigan bench. He has his helmet off, going through that concussion protocol, or I should say, we would assume he's going through that concussion protocol right now. Hasn't gone to the locker room yet. As I was starting to say before that hit, Matt Tompkins in net for the Buckeyes. That replacement coming after a 4-goal night so far for the Wolverines and a 5-goal night last night. All 9 of those goals scored on Christian Fry, the starting goalie for Ohio State. And now it appears that also heading to the box for the Wolverines will be Jake Slaker.
Fiddler making sure to take off his mask and shout across the penalty box to his opponents.
So the penalties, according to our stat sheet, 2 minutes for roughing on Miguel Fiddler. That's the penalty on Will Lockwood. And then after the play, Saccone called for unsportsmanlike conduct. And Healy and Saccone also called for unsportsmanlike conduct. Those penalties are offsetting. 4 men in the box, no time on the clock, so it will be 5-on-5 between these two teams. Quick shot off the draw as we're finally back underway. Schilke, the man, trying to get one there. Michigan picks the puck up and clears it out. Will Lockwood putting his helmet back on the Michigan bench. We'll see how he's doing. Coming in the other way, Ohio State. Matt Miller takes a shot, patted aside by Levine. Wolverines just able to clear it out. A slow puck pushed out of the zone. Lockwood standing up. Looks like they're trying to see how he handles a little bit harder activity. Not, obviously he's conscious, but still potentially unsteady. Took a hit to the head. Wolverines, a shot from the far point. That's Winborg. Slaker deals one in front. That one knocked aside. Check that, Evan Allen, the man with the pass. Yob skates into the Michigan zone. He loses the puck and he goes for a change. Puck in behind the Michigan net. Griffin Luce fighting with Witella. Luce loses the puck into the near corner. Falls back behind the net again for Griffin Luce. Filtered aside into the corner. Back in behind the net. Witella and Luce again. Winborg picks it up. Over to Piazza. Filters it around for Danks. Danks clears it out, but it's quickly picked up by Moser near center ice. Skating backwards and settling in his own zone. Forward for Lazinski. Lazinski across the blue line. Fakes a shot. Now takes a shot. Off a stick. Up high. Off the screen. And we'll get a stoppage. Offensive zone faceoff coming up for Ohio State. Four men remain in the box. Couldn't quite tell you how much time remaining on those penalties. Penalties were called at 7:18 in the period. So about a minute remaining. Obviously they'll come out on a stoppage of play. Michigan wins the draw, clears that out of the zone. Joshua settles it near center ice, though, and fires it right back in. Boca from behind his own net, tripped up, no call. Hit while he's down. That was incidental contact. Marody picks it up and skates out. Dumping it into the Ohio State zone is Stephen Merrill. Ohio State picked it up, though, and clears it out. Miller near center ice for Stork. Stork mishandled it. Cleared out by Marody. Gordy Meyer fired it back in. It rings around to the near boards. Fighting for it on those near boards. Stewart finally picks it up. Tries to clear it out. LaRock picks it up and fires one in. Michigan clears the zone off of a deflection. Tompkins from behind his own net. Settles it. Miller fires it out. Cleared into the zone. And Schilke behind the Michigan net. Schilke skating with it. On the far corner. Harassed by Sanchez. Sanchez getting called for a penalty here. Sanchez doesn't like that call. The 4 men that were in the box will head to the bench.
Got to make room.
And as I mentioned, Sanchez will go to the penalty box.
And the linesmen, the refs out there, they know where all of this chippiness is headed. I think that's as fast as I've seen them skate into a scrum to separate the players.
Well, for what it's worth, I think that penalty, you look at the penalty and Sanchez kind of cross-checked Schilke right around the waist area, and Schilke went down feet first into the boards. Not really a hard hit into the boards. The penalty is called cross-checking, not boarding. I think Ohio State saw kind of a similar thing, that it wasn't a real aggressive penalty, and that's why we saw that there wasn't quite as much aggression after that play as we've seen on some of the others.
Didn't look to be a particularly egregious hit there by Sanchez in the corner, but I can understand if the refs would kind of assert that they're going to call a no-nonsense sort of game and not allow it to devolve into a physical slugfest out there, as these rivalry games often do turn into.
Looking down at the Michigan bench, the trainer has left the side of Will Lockwood. Will Lockwood now standing near the middle of the bench. Looks like he's itching to get back in the game. You'd expect that if they had shut him down for the day, they might have taken away his helmet and he'd be sitting down at one end of the bench, but instead looks like he's getting ready to come back in for his next shift. Slaker on for the penalty kill. Michigan loses the draw. Prost over to Meyer. Meyer takes a shot. Yobst scores on the rebound. Now some pushing and shoving after the goal is scored. Nolan DeYoung in there fighting. Sanchez comes out of the box. Only 6 seconds went off the clock on that penalty kill.
Dakota Joshua absolutely blinding Hayden Levine with his presence in front of the net. It was a real floater there from the point, but you can even see on the replay the path of the puck totally in line with Joshua. Yobst, to his credit, able to swat it out of the air. That might have even been heading for the net had he not gotten the touch. Yobst extends his point streak to 12, and Ohio State back within 1.
Quick stoppage on the ice as the ref exchanges pucks. Somebody in the scorer's booth. Maybe something wrong with that puck. You don't see that too often. Michigan wins the draw in behind Ohio State's net. Brendan Warren gets a big hit. Settled onto the near boards, picked up by Gordy Meyer and skating out of his own zone. Forward for Lazinski. Ohio State gets one back. It's 4-3, 9:26 remaining. Here in the second period, we're just past halftime. You're listening to WCBN Sports. Eli Sherman alongside Morris Fabre here for this Saturday night call. On the near boards in Ohio State zone, Michigan got away with a hold there. Puck filters out to the far corner. Lockwood back on the ice once and for all. Brendan Warren, an athletic play, diving to knock the puck out of the zone down the ice. Michigan goes for a change. Lockwood probably going to be taking a few short shifts the next couple rounds. And now on the bench, he's walking over to the trainer behind the bench. Maybe he wasn't feeling quite right. Coming off there, he's talking to the trainer, shaking his head. Maybe he's saying, I can't go. In any case, Piazza from the near point, he takes a shot off a man in front, bounces into the far corner, picked up by Meyer behind his own net. Sanchez keeps it in, though, an athletic play, forward to Dankton behind the corner. Skating into the circle, back to Piazza at the point. Piazza across the ice.
A lot of bodies in front.
Delayed penalty coming up. Shot fired by Sanchez. Sanchez in behind for Winborn. Extra skater on for the Wolverines. Whistle blowed. And I didn't see a penalty in there. Perhaps an interference called on Ohio State, but someone's heading to the box. It'll be Sasha Larocque.
The Wolverines going with a more aggressive posture since that third goal from Yobst. Putting two guys forward on the forecheck for Ohio State's last couple defensive clears, as well as one charging aggressively on the would-be outlet pass near center ice. It created the pressure that led to the break that is this Michigan power play.
So update on Will Lockwood. He's now sitting behind the bench with Jack LaFontaine, the backup goalie for the Wolverines. Appears that his night may be done, or at least taking a break, and we'll see if he can go in the third period. 8:03 remaining here in the second. Wolverines lead 4-3. They're on the power play. Cooper Marody in on the draw. He wins it back to Piazza. Piazza skating in the point. Forward to Slaker. Slaker back to Piazza. Across to Marody. Marody in the circle. Thought about a shot. Held up. To Piazza, high slot. Piazza forward to Slaker, near circle. Slaker a shot. Knocked off in front. And clearing it nicely is Brendan Kearney. Down the ice. No icing because of the penalty kill. Piazza picks it up. Forward into the zone. Sanchez knocks it forward. Picking it up. Far corner. Marody back to Piazza, high slot. To Sanchez. Sanchez, Marody at the point. Piazza near point. He takes a shot. Glove save by Tompkins.
Yeah,
and Tompkins kills the play.
I think ideally you would want Dexter Danks camping out in front of the net if you are the Wolverines. Instead it was the much smaller Jake Slaker who provided the screen. And that just allows for more visibility. Easy save there for Tompkins on what might have been a little more difficult of a look. If Danks were camped out in front instead.
Nick Pastujov in on the draw for the Wolverines. 1:17 remaining on their power play. Winborg picks it up. Back to Luke Martin at the point. DeYoung, one-timer. Patted aside. Evan Allen picks it up on the near boards. Allen fighting for it with two Ohio State men. And it filters out of the zone. Luke Martin unable to keep it in. Skating back towards his net. Took an own shot on goal. A little bit of a flurry of stick action from Ohio State, keeping the offensive pressure on the penalty kill, and Levine had to cover it up. It'll be a defensive zone faceoff for the Wolverines on the power play. Tend to want to avoid that as much as possible. Winborg wins the draw to DeYoung. DeYoung from behind his own net. Skates forward with it. Forechecked by Jobs. Luke Martin fires it in. Around the boards for Allen. Stops it with a skate. Pastujov in the corner. Pastujov leveled behind the net. Winborg picks up the puck, though. DeYoung keeps the puck in the zone. Across to Luke Martin, right on the blue line. He could not handle it.
Wolverines got to get him off the ice.
That was a silly play by Luke Martin, allowing the puck to bounce off his stick and out of the zone, called for the offsides.
He's made a couple of errors. First, getting discombobulated back on defense, not keeping the puck in, leading to a defensive zone face-off, and then that, inexcusable.
Slaker wins the draw uncleanly, though. Piazza fires it into the zone. Knocked down by Tompkins behind his own net. Into the far corner. 6:24 remaining in the period. 19 seconds on Michigan's power play. Slaker feeds it back to Piazza. Piazza skates into the high slot. Marody, far point. Across to Slaker. Intercepted and knocked out of the zone by Kearney. Nice play there by Kearney. Getting that stick in the way of the pass. And now Kearney kills off the end of the power play. Now Ohio State has a chance in front of the net. Joshua unable to cleanly put it on net. Michigan recovers and skates out of their own zone. High off the glass and into the Ohio State zone. Marody passed it, but it's picked up by Ohio State, carried out. Meyer, fancy stick work, loses the puck, but picks it back up to center ice for Joshua. Joshua in the high slot. Off a man and down into the near corner. Four men fighting for it there. Schuer tried to skate out with it. He lost the puck. Now in front, Joshua trying to pick up a shot. He loses the puck. Schuer gets it out of the zone, clears it away. No icing as it went off a man. Miller picks it up right in front of his own net and knocks it out of the zone. Out near the red line, Gus picks it up, skates into the zone. Levine expertly covers it up as the puck slowly slid in on net, and now a convergence of players near the Wolverines' net. Levine still underneath that pile of men. And it looks like a penalty will be called I think I saw David Gust grab the face mask of the goalie Zach Levine, or Hayden Levine, excuse me.
That's a 15-yard
You can hear
penalty.
the colorful words being chanted by the Michigan student section, the children of Yost.
You're giving our ambient mics a lot of credit, Eli.
I mean, I can hear it clearly over the ambient mic. I don't know about the listeners at home. Unfortunately, we don't have any sort of mute button on that.
What do you mean, unfortunately?
FCC laws, even though we're on the internet, still should at least be respected, even
Why?
if we aren't subject to them. In any case, the Wolverines lose the draw but gather the puck behind their own net. Griffin Luce loses it. One-timer shot coming from Matthew Weiss. It went aside. Michigan picked it up and now carries it out. Winborg fires it into the Ohio State zone from the blue line. They'll go for, never mind, they thought they were going to go for a change, but it's just kind of an easing of pressure offensively. Now in behind the Ohio State net, 3 Wolverines fighting for it. Schuart in behind the net. Now Winborg picks it up in the slot, can get a shot off. Now Schuart gets a rebound. He scores! Max Schuart buries one, and Tompkins has let in his first goal of the night. 5-3 Wolverines.
And it all started with Ohio State lollygagging in defense. Michigan got that pressure that I mentioned earlier on, sent 2 guys down deep. Schuart forced the turnover. Winborg, a really crappy shot. He was all alone in the slot and couldn't do anything off of the deflection out front, but it just led to chaos and chaos. Bretta Chance and Schuart able to jam it home past Tompkins.
Wolverines, to be honest, some really ugly offensive development there. They didn't really have a play set up. Everybody was shaded towards the right side of the ice. Winborg had an off-balance shot, went off the net, went off the goalie. Schuart picked it up, took a rebound, got his own rebound, and scored 5-hole. Tompkins, angry at the referee. They're reviewing this one for potential goalie interference.
And I think they're going to see if Evan Allen had his skate in the crease when that one went in, or, when Tompkins went to attempt to save. And it really does look like Allen did make some contact with the left pad of Tompkins.
That said, Evan Allen seemed to be pushed by Sasha Larocque. I think this is a judgment call at best, not really clear either way whether or not Evan Allen was responsible for Tompkins falling over. I think if you're a Michigan fan, it's kind of clear as day to you that Evan Allen was pushed, and if you're an Ohio State fan, it's clear that Evan Allen got his skate underneath the pad and lifted Tompkins off balance with that right skate. We'll see what the referee says. The goal is good. The Wolverines 5-3. Nolan DeYoung, a few words with the referee after the review. Not sure what that's about. Maybe pleading his case about extracurriculars, trying to keep things from getting too chippy here. Michigan has now scored 5 goals in consecutive nights against Ohio State. Slaker in on the draw. Jobst off balance. They'll try it again. Ohio State wins the draw, but Warren on the forecheck bumps it into the Ohio State zone. They quickly clear it out. Icing waved off. Into the near corner. Schilke behind the net. He loses it. Coming out is Slaker. Slaker over to Sanchez. Sanchez bumps it into the zone. Brendan Warren tried to pick it up, but it was just knocked aside by an Ohio State stick. On the far boards, Jobs clears it out. DeYoung unable to catch it, picking it up. Now Schilke, a breakaway, was off balance as he took a shot. And a penalty called, a slash coming up on Michigan. Slash from behind, looked like it was DeYoung called for the slash.
DeYoung, I don't know if it gets much easier to catch a puck. Sure, you're moving backwards on skates and the puck's flying and flapping all over the place. So it's difficult just in virtue of the task itself being difficult. But, no one in front of DeYoung's got to be able to knock that one down and control it. Instead, he lets it bounce off of his glove and buy him, Schilke, a good chance. And he had the slash to deny the chance.
Yeah, Schilke coming along the right side of the boards. DeYoung was more or less right in the middle of the slot and then off balance, turning to his left. Just kind of swung around with the stick and hit Schilke in the back leg, and that's what, I to be honest, I don't think Schilke was going to have a clean shot at it anyways, but certainly the slash didn't help his efforts, so Michigan will be on the penalty kill. 3:55 to go here in the second period. The Wolverines lead 5-3, but they're on the penalty kill. You're listening to WCBN Sports. Eli Sherman and Morris Fabry live from Yost Ice Arena on the campus of the University of Michigan. Jobst loses the draw. Wolverines tried to clear it out, but Myers right there to settle it down. Quick shot from the high post. In between some bodies, Levine knocked it aside, and the Wolverines pick it up and clear it out down the ice for Tompkins. Thompson's the goalie, settles it, passes it forward to Schilke. Cross ice to Jobst. Jobst across the blue line. Now Slaker picks it up. He has a one-on-one. Takes a shot off a stick up high and into the netting. Michigan will have an offensive zone faceoff, shorthanded.
Jobst tried to get a little too fancy working his way into the zone and took a big hit pretty high up. I'd say it was on the borderline of legality, but as it stands, nice, clean, open ice hit for the Wolverines, rattling Ohio State's, one of their top scorers.
Stewart loses the draw. Puck remains in Ohio State's zone for the moment. Gust from behind his own net hands it off to Meyer. Meyer skating out. Forward to Jobst. Jobst across into the blue line. Joshua tried to find the puck, but it's knocked aside by Boca. Boca tried to clear it out. Gust is right there to keep it in. Forward in behind the net. In behind the net, Boca picks it up. Knocked off the puck. And Michigan gets the clear. Saccone, the man, there to fire it out. 1 minute remaining on the penalty kill. 2:53 on the clock in the second period. Meyer skating across center ice, now across the blue line into the zone. Lifts one off the boards. Michigan picks it up on the near boards. Unable to get the clear. Now Saccone from behind his own net. He takes a hard shot and fires it out. 35 seconds off the penalty kill. Tompkins settles it for Miller. Healy skating forward. He finds Weiss. Weiss forward for Lisinski. Lisinski into the far corner on Michigan side of the ice. Weiss, a one-timer in the slot. Knocked aside. And picking it up and scoring is Witella. Getting around the right pad of Hayden Levine. And Ohio State gets one back once again. 5-4, the power play goal.
Luke Martin got caught on his heels, got beaten for pace there. As the Wolverines defense kind of contorted itself to collapse, it opened up a passing lane. And I think it was Jake Slaker a little late tracking back to cut off that pass to the slot. It was an easy shot for Lisinski, but instead he dropped it off on the doorstep. Bang, bang, Ohio State back within one.
The Wolverines win the draw back into their own zone. Puck fired out, and Stephen Merrill is unable to get a stick on it. It goes down the ice, and icing is called on the Wolverines. Sloppy passing there, and the Wolverines will have a defensive zone face-off. Under 2 minutes remaining here in the second period. 1:59 to go, 5-4. Michigan retains the lead for the time being. Ohio State has kept pretty even here in this second period. Quick shot off the draw from Miller. That one knocked up off the netting. And the faceoff will move, or check that, it will remain in the circle on the right side of Levine. Thought it had gone off a stick on the right side of the left side of the ice. In any case, Piazza picks it up, fires it out of the zone. Danks pushes it forward for Merrill. Merrill loses the puck as he gets to the near boards. Ohio State tried to clear it out. Danks settles it. Luke Martin at the point. He takes a shot off a skate in front. Bounces to the left side. Marody in behind the net, tries to find a man, unable to find one, and Kearney picks it up and carries it out. Kearney dumps it into Michigan zone, in behind the net. Merrill on the far corner. Dumped behind. Ohio State picked it up, tried to find a man in the slot. It falls into the corner. Near corner, pass deflected aside. Michigan picks it up, clears it out. Stephen Merrill goes for a change, as do the rest of the Michigan forwards. 1 minute remaining here in the second period. Ohio State skates with it behind Michigan's net, but they lose it. Nick Boca picking it up and dumping it out of the zone. LaRock picks it up near his own blue line. Forward for Gust. Gust across ice to Stork. Stork skating into the zone. Stork a shot, circle, glove save by Hayden Levine. 3 inches off the ice, flashing that leather. 41.7 seconds remaining here in the second period. The Wolverines hanging on to a 5-4 lead. We're setting up for a fantastic finish here for the second night in a row. Last night the Wolverines were leading 5-4 and had to go a solid 18 minutes to hold on to that 1-goal lead in the third period. We'll see how it shapes up in this one. Face off to the right side of Levine in the Michigan zone. Michigan wins the draw. Skating out with it is Stewart. Out of his reach, Healy picks it up, fires it back into into the Michigan zone, Ohio State with possession. Gust loses it. Evan Allen on the near boards. Drops it back to Boca. Boca behind his own net, feeds it forward. Evan Allen touches it up. Icing waved off behind the Ohio State net. Michigan has struggled to get offense the last couple minutes here in the second period. 7 seconds on the clock. A little bit of pushing and shoving as the puck falls into near center ice. One final shot from near center ice. Hayden Levine covers it up. 0.4 seconds remaining. That will just about do it. One ceremonial puck drop remaining. Enough time for the players to get in some pushing and shoving after the final alarm bell.
And Levine hasn't exactly submitted an inspired performance tonight. 4 goals surrendered on 24 shots. I feel like he's done enough. A lot of defensive lapses for this Wolverines team. And I don't think 5 goals is going to be enough to win this one.
The old adage in hockey has always been first to 3 wins it, but in this game it might turn out that the first to 7 will be the victor. In any case, a 0.4 second. They're not quite ready to drop the puck yet. 2 referees conversating with the scorer's table, perhaps trying to figure out whether or not the clock actually should have run out and they should have blown the whistle, but if anything, there should maybe be an extra half second from what there is.
Well, I'm glad that we've got an officiating crew that will not rest until they've determined whether we should have 0.4, 0, or 0.7 seconds on this clock.
Now the clock says 0. I hesitate to believe that that's actually the case. And now it says 0.9. So about 1 second to play. Scarcely believe that Ohio State will be able to get off any sort of fantastic shot. They go with an empty net. Had 6 skaters on the ice all stacked up and ready to go. Some more confusion on the ice after the whistle. Ohio State players thought that there had been a false start on the penalty draw, on the faceoff draw. The Michigan team is heading to the locker room. They've had enough of this period. Now Ohio State grudgingly heads to their own locker room. We've hit the end of the second period. It's 5-4 in Michigan's favor. Still, again, several goals scored. It was 3-2 as we started the period. Both teams scored 2 goals. And we'll head to what we hope is a fantastically exciting finish. We'll be back in about 15 minutes. Eli Sherman and Morris Fabry here for WCBN Sports. Stay tuned. Hello and welcome back into Ann Arbor. I'm Eli Sherman alongside Morris Fabry. We're here live at Yost Ice Arena. Third period of play is underway. The Wolverines lead 5-4 entering the period. Ohio State lost the opening draw but now settle things in their own zone. Matt Fiddler from his blue line forward. Intercepted by Nolan DeYoung. His pass to Brendan Warren is intercepted. Now Brendan Warren picks it back up, fires it into Ohio State's zone. Michigan going for a change, though. Ohio State clears. Fiddler on the near boards. Bumps it into Michigan's zone. Luke Martin picks it up on the near circle. Sam Piazza rifled it in. Filters behind Ohio State's net. Winborg there. Puck falls out to Stork. He goes behind his own net to Healy. Now back to Miller on the near boards coming up the left side. Shot into the Michigan zone is knocked down. Evan Allen picks it up in the near corner. Trying to get a clear. Gust and Joshua there for Ohio State. Puck falls to Sam Piazza behind his own net. He chips it out. There's nobody in the area, and this is going to go all the way down and get called for an icing.
Yeah, Piazza was trying to lead Schuart, hit him in stride as he crossed his own blue line, but Schuart instead had turned toward the Michigan bench to body off his man and, just get a deflection to clear the zone. A miscommunication, I'd say the fault in that instance is on Piazza for being too ambitious.
Joshua wins the draw back to LaRock. LaRock dumps it into the corner, nobody there but Winborg. Winborg picks it up and gives it to Schuart. Schuart behind the net, trying to find Piazza, but Moser is quicker, gets there on the near board. Evan Allen gets it after it pinballs off a few sticks. Schuart trying to skate out with it, but it's out of his reach. Ohio State regains possession and quickly turns it back down ice. Joshua shot right from the blue line, in and out of the glove by Levine, but he covers up the rebound. And the draw will come to his left side, the blocker side for Hayden Levine.
Yeah, Joshua teed one up there, and Levine had a bunch of Michigan players around, but credit Gust for charging in, enforcing a defensive zone faceoff for the Wolverines.
Ohio State wins the draw, but Lazinski tried to get off a shot and got tripped up. Michigan picks up the puck in the slot and skates out with it. Now behind the Ohio State net. Danks from behind the net to Luce. Luce unable to handle it with his stick. It's knocked out of the zone. Really sloppy stick play. Now a 2-on-1 for Ohio State. Looking to find a shot. Weiss can't get it off. Witella got the puck off a drop, took a shot from the slot, and it's covered by Levine.
Yeah, I think Levine got a little lucky to be where that shot was directed from Witella. Weiss's initial shot ricocheted off the skate of, I believe it was James Sanchez, but it bounced, unfortunately for Michigan, right into the slot onto the stick of an open Witella. A lot of traffic in front. So he just kind of had fired at the net, but still very dangerous. No time to react for Levine.
Kevin Miller wins the draw back to Meyer. Meyer a shot high off the glass to the right of the net. Shot in near the slot, way wide. Michigan picks up the puck, clears it out. Porikos coming the other way, trying to get to the puck. Meyer picks it up, though. Settles it in his own zone. Tries to clear. Gets it over the outstretched hand of Nick Pastujov. The Wolverines settle it in their own zone. Merrill chips it forward as a stretch pass goes down the ice and into Ohio State zone. Saccone from the blue line. Shot tipped into the glove of Tompkins. Pastujov was right there to try and tip it up into the net, but the ankle just wasn't working for him, and it is handily saved by Matt Tompkins for Ohio State.
The lucky sieve. Pastujov deflected that one right into his chest. Might have even been better off letting that one go by, as it might have been heading for the right side of the net, but you can't really know that as a player in front of the net. Just trying to redirect it, make it so the goalie can't react.
Yobs wins the draw for Ohio State. They carry it out. Schilke fires it into the zone off the end boards. Warren tried to clear it, went off the skate of Schilke. Nearly a tough possession there. Michigan a 4-on-2 and called for the offsides as they entered the zone. A little bit aggressive there, overzealous
That's inexcusable. It's a 5-4 game. Michigan needs every goal they can get. You just can't skate in ahead of the skater on a 4-on-2 like that. I understand you want to get your momentum forward. You want to get to the net or whatever, but...
Or at the very least, Warren needs to be aware of where the men are on the ice and chip it forward ahead of them so they don't skate in ahead of him with the puck. Puck fired in, far corner on Ohio State's side. Michigan can't keep it in, though. Evan Allen settles things and fires it back down ice. Moser settling things in the Ohio State end. Moser, stretch pass off the sideboards, picked up by Luke Martin, nearly into the Ohio State zone, but they pick it up and clear it out. Gus skates in. Near corner, in behind the net, in front! Shutting the door is Levine. He's real lucky to have had the glove in the right spot at the right time as Ohio State had an open net. And now a quick shot. Levine covers one up. That one coming from the left side. But there was a pass from right behind the net. Nice one by Gus. He found Luke Stork right in front of the net. Luke Stork shot into the carefully placed glove of Levine. It fell short, but they're unable to get the rebound. 16-12 remaining in the third period. Ohio State looking for the equalizer.
Yeah, it was Gus with a little nifty in and out hesitation, moved fake to go inside, got to the backboards by Boca, and Winborg crashed down to help out, but didn't get his stick on the ice and cut off that passing lane like he needed to. As such, Stork on the doorstep, not able to leave a tying goal for the Ohio State Buckeyes. I was trying to make a Stork leave baby pun, but I couldn't pull it off.
Not every pun is meant to be, Morris. Not every pun is meant to be.
I disagree.
Sanchez picks up the puck on the near corner. Stolen away by Lazinski. Witella behind the Michigan net. Over to Lazinski on the near boards. Stolen away by Sanchez. Skates out into the slot to Dexter Danks, who lifts it up and out of the zone. Sanchez skates in, picks up the loose puck in behind the Ohio State net, trying to find a man in the slot, hit hard on the end boards. Griffin loose, sloppy stick play. Puck is picked up by Ohio State and knocked out of the zone. Near zone blue line is Griffin loose. Drops it to Boca. Boca stretch pass down the near side. Dexter Danks coming into the zone. In on net. Shot knocked aside. Danks behind the Ohio State net. Danks from behind the net. Trying to find a man out in front. Puck stolen away from behind. Ohio State, nice job defensively with the poke checks there. Puck down ice, picked up by Pastujov in his own zone. 15 minutes remaining here in the third period. Meyer from his own zone, stretch pass to Schilke. Cross ice, he has Jobst. Jobst across the blue line. Dangles, in on net. Slamming the door shut on the left side was Levine. Puck not moving on the end boards. 4 men fighting for it, now 5. Saccone slithers it away and dumps it out of the zone. Picked up by Meyer on his own blue line. And Ohio State will turn ice. Miller across the red line. Dumps it into the zone. Levine settles it behind his own net and leaves it for DeYoung. Schilke picks it up, stolen away from DeYoung. Jobst a shot just a little bit underneath it. That 7-iron going up high off the glass instead of in the net. Need a lower line drive. Sanchez a shot from the blue line. Off of the change, handled by Tompkins. Play will end there. 14-10 remaining. First TV timeout here in the third period. Wolverines clinging to a 5-4 lead.
Levine, in my mind, did a good job of getting behind the net, dealing with the puck, but I thought he was way too casual in just leaving that one there for DeYoung. And DeYoung, to his detriment, didn't do a great job of picking the puck up and taking it with him. It was poked into the slot for Jobst to, more often than not, he's going to bury that or at least get it on net. I think Levine's got to shuttle that one around the boards. Or, if he's going to leave, make sure that his defender is going to be the man to get there.
It was a clear miscommunication there. DeYoung kind of saw the play develop in front of his eyes, and you almost saw him say, Levine, what are you doing? Nobody was there to pick up the puck, but DeYoung attentive and got there quickly enough to disrupt the play. In any case, offensive zone face-off for the Wolverines to the left side of Matt Tompkins. False start on the face-off. Slaker wins it, but it's a bit of a scrum. Ohio State ends up with the puck skating out of the zone. They clear it up, center ice for Gust. Over to Joshua, back to Gust. Gust in on net. Shot knocked aside by Levine.
Really nice save there.
Stork in the near corner. Piazza. Gust wins it back. Out to Healy. Healy can't handle it, and it goes down ice. Ohio State lost their own possession. In behind his own net is Miller. Feeds it around the boards. Joshua picks it up at the Michigan blue line right beneath us. Shot in on net. Pad save by Levine. Evan Allen picks it up, and a whistle blown as Joshua went down right in front of the Michigan net.
Oh, it's a weak one, I think, going on Nick Boca. It looked to me more like an incidental sort of ice is slippery fall there by Joshua, but Boca's going to go for a trip.
The referee's high stick is certainly the call.
That was not incidental. Boca
got his stick up high on the face mask of Dakota Joshua.
I don't think he saw Joshua there, but you can't let that go uncalled. It's a certain penalty. Unfortunate more than anything.
So Michigan on the kill, 13:27 remaining in the third period. Nolan DeYoung in behind the Michigan net. They get the clear. Schuart out on the forecheck as Tompkins settle things behind his own net. Schuart will retreat. Skating out is Healy over to Miller. Miller tried to get an entry pass. It was chipped up and out of play. Saccone, the disruptive stick. Puck will stay in the neutral zone. Michigan's end of the neutral zone, near side.
And judging by the lack of concern on the faces of the fans, I don't think anyone got pelted as that one went over the boards. No netting there.
Shot fired in by Meyer. Levine settles it behind his own net. Schilke feeds it back to Meyer. Back to Schilke in the circle. Schilke can't handle it. DeYoung bounces it out of the zone.
Uh-oh, another penalty going to the Wolverines. Brendan Warren, a stick to the face of Gust. Going to be a 5-on-3 next time Michigan touches up.
Tompkins heads to the bench trying to get that extra skater, but the entry pass was a little slow and Slaker able to touch it up. So Michigan, again, as Morris mentioned, will be on a 5-on-3 penalty kill. Brendan Warren heading to the box for the Wolverines.
Two high sticks, just absent-minded stuff for the Wolverines. And the Buckeyes poised to take advantage. I'd say the run and play has been tilted in their favor for the past, 15 minutes or so of hockey being played. Michigan, sure, they've had their chances. But the Buckeyes poised to take control unless Michigan can get a really stoic defensive stand here.
Schuart loses the draw. Ohio State dealing on the far boards. Dispossessed from behind by Schuart. A great play. Stealing it away from Jobst as he tried to skate into the slot. And he clears it down ice. Schilke skating forward across his blue line to Jobst across the Michigan blue line. Jobst in on net. Shot! Wide, and Jobst picks it up on the far corner. Jobst to Weiss on the near point. High slot for Schilke. Back to Weiss. Weiss down low to Gus. To Weiss. Schilke. Schilke a shot in behind the boards. Gus picks up the rebound. Far corner looking for a man. Jobst behind. Back to Gus. Gus in front. Shot. Joshua can't handle it. Bounces off the boards and out of the zone. Tompkins coming forward to keep the play alive. Into Jobst. Michigan picks it up. Slaker clears. Now Slaker. Breakaway. Short-handed. Slaker in on net. He can't get it in. Schilke skates back across the center ice, across the blue line, taking it himself. In on net. Jobst tips it in and scores. Beautiful tip by Mason Yobbs, and Ohio State has evened this one up. They remain on the penalty as one man comes out of the box for the Wolverines.
Woo, man. The chemistry between Schilke and Yobbs has been pretty today, but until then it hadn't yielded much. But that is as good of a redirect as you're going to see. Yobbs almost one-handed scooped the puck up off the short hop, high over the left glove side of Hayden Levine into the top corner. And now I think the refs are going to have to confer and determine whether that came with the Wolverines one man or two men down. It's going to make a big difference here. The game will be tied, but will the Wolverines be back at full strength is the question.
Brendan Warren has exited the box, and it appears, at least for the moment, that Nick Boca's penalty had ended. Whether or not he was actually on the ice to be a part of the play is a different matter, but it appears that Boca's penalty had ended, and that means Warren was the penalty of record when Yobbs knocked the puck in.
Oh, that was such a sick goal. That was just so beautiful, the feathery touch from Schilke to Yobbs.
Yobbs getting the puck from behind and, perfectly using that angle to let the puck roll off his stick up and top shelf in the net. The referees are doing a little bit of quick math down in the scorer's booth, trying to figure out what the time is left. And the signal is that it will be indeed 5-on-5, so the Wolverines will get their man back. Tie game. 5 men on the ice for each team and 5 goals on the board for each team. 11:27 remaining here in this game, and it's starting to feel like Michigan is slipping these last couple minutes. Michigan wins the draw. Boca settling things in his own zone. Chipped forward into the Ohio State zone, into the far corner. Healy tries to clear it out. Huitala fighting for it on his own blue line, knocked back to Healy. Miller clearing it out. Down into the Michigan zone around the boards. Griffin Luce picks it up. Stolen away by Lazinski. Chipped around. Weiss picks it up in the near corner. Lazinski harassed by Cooper Marody, and the puck cleared out. Dexter Danks, a one-on-one. Puck stolen away by Matt Miller. A nice job there by the defenseman. Miller in the far corner on his side of the ice. Settles it back to Healy, now back to Miller. Miller trying to get the clear. Michigan keeps the puck in. Sam Piazza coming in off a change. He mishandles it, and now Ohio State will clear. They have men coming with speed, but even strength. Miller in the near corner. Quick shot by Girard. Brings around the boards, and unable to handle is Larocque. Now Michigan, a 2-on-1. Moser is the closer man. He picks it up and settles the puck down. Forward for Miller. Miller skates out of the zone, and now into Michigan zone. Offsides called as he went into Michigan zone. Larocque was just a touch ahead of him, and the puck will come out for a neutral zone faceoff. 9:58 to go here in the third period of play. 5-5 to score. You're listening to WCBN Sports. Eli Sherman and Morris Fabry here on the call on a chilly Saturday evening in the middle of winter in Ann Arbor.
Look, Eli, Ohio State has outshot the Wolverines 9-2 in the third period alone. They've had the power play opportunities. Sure, they've had some, man advantages, but at the same time, they've been cleanly outplaying the Wolverines. And, they're a better hockey team this year. You can tell by the record. You can tell by the defensive discipline. I think the Wolverines have done a good job taking it to the Buckeyes from a physical standpoint. I think they need to chip the game up a bit. The Wolverines aren't scoring beautiful tic-tac goals, but they're still tied. They're still in this game. 9:58 to go, less than half a period in regulation. And the Wolverines need someone to step up. I think they're going to need, Sanchez and Marody have had great games so far today. Brendan Warren has had his impact felt. One of those guys is going to have a moment of brilliance, and then they're going to have to hold on for dear life on the defensive end of things. Because Ohio State right now, they've got control of this game. And I don't think 6 goals is going to be enough to win either.
Ohio State wins the draw and pushes it into Michigan zone. Michigan regains possession, though. Saccone on the near corner. Loses the puck to Stork. Now DeYoung picks it up behind his own net. Puck loose on the near corner. Slaker picks it up and clears it out. Sanchez coming forward with speed on the near boards. Dumps it into Ohio State zone. Michigan's offense is anemic so far here in the third period and really dating back to the middle of the second period. Sanchez whiffs on a shot. Marody picks it up in the slot. Shot up off the air off the goalie. Knocked aside. Sanchez picks it up back to Saccone. High slot for DeYoung. DeYoung a shot. That one knocked aside. On the near boards, Stork was able to clear it out. DeYoung picks it up, quickly gets it back into the zone. Marody skating in, looking for a man. Shot on goal. Pad save, unable to hold on. Knocks it aside. Tompkins are doing a nice job in net. Boca settles one down and then fires. Picking up the rebound in the far corner is Stephen Merrill. Merrill loses the puck and skating out is Jobst. Jobst across the blue line to Fielder. Fielder in on net. Loose picks it up in the near corner as it had filtered aside. Puck not moving there. Fiddler and Loose fighting for it. Boca in the area. Fiddler pushing it towards behind the net. Meyer gets the puck as it comes loose. Now back into the corner. Cooper Marody there now fighting with Fiddler. Puck loose again. Jobst and Boca. Comes out to Danks in the near circle. Settles things and fires it around the boards for Merrill, who gets it out of the zone. Merrill was hanging on to Healy's stick, lucky not to be called for a hold there. Meyer settling things and setting them up. Tried an entry pass, intercepted by Boca. Boca the other way for Allen. Allen to Winborg in the slot, shot deflected. Jobst picks it up and dumps it out of the zone. Ohio State, a wholesale change. Whistle called. Wholesale change reversed on an icing.
Michigan, since I mentioned the shot counter, they've gotten 4 straight unanswered, and they've been peppering Tompkins in net, getting shots from good positions, getting bodies in front of the net. It's a good response for the Wolverines as a timeout is taken by, I believe, the Ohio State Buckeyes. It's got to be.
Ohio State indeed, although according to the closed captioning on the scoreboard, High He State. The typist is having a little bit of trouble this evening.
Well, maybe they went to state. Ohio, Michigan. No, it's wrong to cast aspersions on people for where they went to school.
I'm going to ignore the fact that we're going to continue to attempt to be unbiased student radio and not chastise you for that. But in any case, 12-10 remaining here in the third period, a tie game. The momentum seemingly with Ohio State these past couple of minutes. They took a timeout following that icing. Same men will remain on the ice. Miller, Witala, Lazinski, LaRock, and Weiss. Winborg on for the draw for Michigan. Lazinski a little bit overzealous on this draw. Winborg wins it. Back to Allen, unable to get a clean shot over to Martin. Martin a shot deflected down. Picked up by Lazinski and taken out. Coming down ice and into Michigan's side. Luke Martin bodied up and knocked down as he tried to win the puck. Sam Piazza picks it up and skates out of the zone. Forward for Evan Allen, out of his reach. And Ohio State regains possession in behind their own net. Allen steals it away, and then it's quickly stolen away again by Lazinski. Lazinski carries it out, forward for LaRock. LaRock near center ice, fires one in off the end boards. Witella in behind the net. Looking for a man out in front. Piazza shuffles it aside, and Michigan regains possession on the end boards. Cleared out. Ohio State picks up the puck. Moser fires one in. High glove save for Levine. He settles it down for Sam Piazza. Ohio State tried an entry pass from near center ice. Kearney's pass went straight shot into Michigan's bench. And the play will stop there. Neutral zone faceoff. Seemed to be that everybody was all right after that shot went in there.
You know, this game, maybe not the best played hockey game I've ever seen, but it's been like two prize fighters just dealing haymakers to each other. The Wolverines took Ohio State's best shot. They've dealt a salvo of their own, and now Ohio State's rattled, attempting to deal with the reversal.
Michigan wins the draw and puts the puck into Ohio State's zone. Porikos from behind the net to Ciccone. Ciccone, a shot off a skate in front. Pastioff picks it up in the far corner. In behind the net, two Michigan players collide, and Kearney comes up with it for Ohio State. Skating across the blue line is Gus. He loses it as it bounced off its skate. Ciccone coming the other way. Pastioff and Porikos ran into each other again on the Michigan side of the ice. Ohio State with the puck bounces in off the end boards. Shot fired in from near center ice. Cleared out by Michigan. Meyer settles it at his own blue line. Forward for Gust. Gust carries it across center ice. Intercepted and stolen by Marody. 3-on-2 for the Wolverines. Marody into the slot, deflected away. Stork gets it out. Coming the other way is Jobst. 1-on-2. Jobst in on net. Tripped up, no call. Cleared away by Sanchez. Miller settles it near center ice. Resets the play. Dumps it in. And icing called. Boca picking it up to touch it up for icing. 5:29 here remaining in the third period. One of these two teams looking for that game-deciding goal.
That was, I think it was Luke Martin playing with fire there. I thought he brought down Jobst. A little too much contact for my liking. I think the Wolverines got away with one.
Michigan loses the offensive zone faceoff. Ohio State clears it. Levine trying to settle it behind his own net. Schilke right there to make him a little bit nervous, but Michigan clears it out of their zone. Sam Piazza from near his own blue line. Forward to Evan Allen. Touches it into Ohio State zone, but can't keep a hold of the puck. Cleared back down for Luke Martin. Luke Martin forward. Picked up by Ohio State's Miller in his own zone. They're just playing catch with each other at this point from around each other's inner face-off circles. Sam Piazza from his own zone. Forward, tipped into the Ohio State zone and back out. Now Witella coming the other way. Witella forward for Lazinski out of his reach. Can't get a good shot on it. And Levine covers it up in front of the net. And a scrum down in front after the whistle.
Ciccone took umbrage to Lazinski getting a little too close to Levine. Mushed him in the face just a little bit. Don't think he's going to be seeing the box for that one.
And we've reached the 4:34 moment, the under 5 media timeout here in this game. I do want to mention that Will Lockwood is not on the Michigan bench, clearly stayed in the locker room following that second intermission. From our vantage point, an apparent head injury. He did try and skate one shift. It lasted about 15 seconds. Went back to the bench, told the trainer that he was a no-go, and is likely in the locker room, if not on his way to the hospital to get checked out. Took a hard hit, a boarding call. The penalty actually went down in the books as a roughing call, but in any case, hit up against the boards near the Michigan bench and took a few minutes to get up.
Yeah, he's been gone
since
the mid-second period. I saw you counting players on the bench. I figured that's what you were looking for, but never got the chance to mention it.
Michigan wins the draw in their own zone, but Ohio State keeps it in. Falls in behind the net. Witella looking for a man out in front. Skates into the near corner. Witella fighting for it. Sanchez and a whistle called on a hand pass. Puck will stay in the Michigan zone. There's a little bit of controversy around that call these days. In the NHL, hand passes are completely allowed in your own zone. In this case, obviously in college, we see it right here. Whistle gets blown and the play gets reset with a face-off. defensive zone faceoff. Quick shot off the draw, went up high. Ohio State retains possession in the zone. Luke Stork drops it behind the net. Joshua there into the far corner. Has Gust helping him out. Puck stolen away. Brendan Warren clears it out. Meyer from his own zone. Forward to Stork. Healy coming the other way. Dumps it in. Levine settles things behind his own net. Over to DeYoung, to Marody. Michigan tried to clear it out. Went off the stick of Warren and into the Michigan bench, but it was just out of the zone when it hit that stick, and it will be a neutral zone faceoff.
Both sides playing a little cagier now that, the next goal is probably going to win the game. I guess I kind of have to rescind what I said about I don't think 6 goals is going to be enough to win it. At this point, it's very likely.
Michigan loses the draw, settles it back into their own zone. They get a quick clear. And now Merrill out on the forecheck, keeping the puck in Ohio State zone. Swings around the boards to Dexter Danks. He has Marody there to help him on the far corner. Danks filters it out, but he loses the puck. Moser picks it up. Moser's played a good game defensively for Ohio State. Fiddler across the blue line. Jobst and Levine did not see that puck. It went off his pad. He's very lucky. Michigan skates across the blue line. Dumps it in Ohio State zone, and then it's cleared back out. LaRock coming the other way. Dumps it into Michigan zone. Boca picks it up behind his own net. Michigan goes for a change. Boca forward. Stewart into the zone. Stewart to Allen. Allen into the slot. Has the puck stolen away from behind. 2-on-2 coming for Ohio State. Michigan evens up. Witella a shot in behind the net. Weiss into Lazinski behind. Lazinski manages to get away from Piazza, trying to find a man to pass to. Lazinski on the near boards. Dumps it to Weiss. Weiss on the near boards. Moser at the point. Moser a shot off a stick. Far corner. Piazza clears it out to Stewart, to Pastioff, skating across center ice, 2-on-2 for the Wolverines. Pastioff shot in on net, way wide. Luke Martin gets it at the point, chips it to keep it in, but Michigan going for a change does not keep the pressure up. Clear down ice, right on net, and Levine has to cover up, no icing.
Dakota Joshua sprays a little ice into the face of Levine at the end of that play. Anything to try to be a thorn in the side of your opponent here with 1:50 to go. If you can just goad them into an unwise penalty at this point, could be the difference between walking out of here with a win, a point, or a loss.
1:50 to go here in the third period, still a tie game. It would, of course, go to overtime if it remains tied at the end of these 2 minutes. Neither team really wants that. Wolverines dump the puck in from center ice. DeYoung, the shot there. Miller picks it up behind his own net. Forward to Stork at the blue line. Cross ice to Healy coming down ice. They chip it into Michigan zone. Joshua behind the net. He loses it to Warren. Warren skates out. Gives it to Slaker. Slaker just clears it, but Healy chips it back in. Ohio State has to touch up on offsides, and Michigan can clear it out. Ciccone skates out of his zone. Forward to Marody. Marody mishandled it. Now dumps it in. Ohio State with the possession. Marody steals it away. Gets a quick shot. Knocked aside. 1 minute remaining here in the period. Skating out. Jobst. Forward for Luce. Michigan picks it up. Marody now. A 4-on-2 coming up for the Wolverines. Marody in on the slot shot. And it's softly handled by Tompkins. He covers it up. 45.1 remaining on the clock here in the third period. A face-off to the left side of Matt Tompkins. Critical moment here. The Wolverines will look to get a quick shot up the draw and get a game-winning goal.
That 4-on-2 vanished in a hurry. The Ohio State defenders mustered up every spare bit of adrenaline they had left, turned on the Jets, and got back, cut off all the passing lanes.
Winborg in on the draw. Jobst the man for Ohio State. Jobst wins it. Ohio State gets the clear. Forward for Kearney. Kearney over to the side for Schilke. Schilke chips it around the boards in behind. Boca and Kearney fighting for it. One-timer shoot, and he scores! Schilke, the man in the high slot, burying that one in the back of the net. Ohio State, a 6-5 lead, 29.5 remaining. Michigan's defense breaks down, and you had to see this coming the whole game. Ohio State has really gotten the majority of the breaks. Schilke, the shot from near the far circle, more slot area. The assist dealt from Mason Yobs.
A lot of eyes on the puck, not a lot of eyes on Schilke as he drifted into prime shooting real estate in the slot just outside, the right face-off circle. You had to see it coming. Is exactly right. Michigan's defense has to see that coming. You can't leave someone unaccounted for in this situation against this opponent. Heartbreaking for the Wolverines. Oh, man, but really shooting there from Schilke, too, was unsavable for Levine.
Michigan takes a timeout as the stands at Yost start to filter out. Levine will remain in net, at least for the moment. The plan is almost certainly for him to head to the bench as soon as Michigan wins the draw, if they win the draw. Although at the moment, Michigan has 6 skaters on the ice, in addition to Levine. Bit of a miscommunication there. Now Winborg heads back to the bench. Slaker Allen and Danks on for the Wolverines. Michigan wins the draw. Piazza back in his own zone. The forecheck is Schilke. Yobs intercepts it as they tried to clear it out. Yobs coming near the blue line. 15 seconds remaining. Ohio State doing a great job of killing off the clock. Michigan skates out. 10 seconds to go. Levine heads to the bench. It's not going to make much of a difference. Evan Allen from his own side. And the puck out of play as the whistle blows. The Wolverines losing a heartbreaker 6-5 as Ohio State gets the late game-winning goal. The player of the game, at least in my eyes, Nick Schilke, senior from Marysville, Michigan.
Had his fingerprints all over this one, Eli. The assist on that Yobs tip into the top right corner. And, came up when his team needed him. The game winner inside 1 minute. An absolute beauty of a slap shot one-timer. Devastates the Wolverines. Yet another nail in the coffin for what has been a pretty dismal Wolverines season. A chance to turn it around today, but in the end, you give up 6 goals, you're not going to win a lot of hockey games.
Michigan falls to 9-13-2 on the season, 2-7-1-1 in the Big Ten. A regulation defeat does not help Michigan in the points column. Not that they're really in any sort of contention for a Big Ten title this season. They would take a spectacular run in the Big Ten tournament at this point. Ohio State, on the other hand, improves to 13-7-6 on the season, 4-5-1-1 in the Big Ten. And these two teams split this weekend series. They'll play again in about a month down in Columbus. But again, Michigan's struggles continue. A really disappointing defeat as Michigan had a 2-goal lead at one point in this game and then allows Ohio State to score 3 unanswered goals on a couple of penalties and that ugly, ugly defensive play to allow Schilke to score the game-winning goal open in the slot with 30 seconds to go. That's going to do it for our broadcast here from Yost Ice Arena. For Morris Fabry, I'm Eli Sherman. We thank you for tuning in. We're going to leave you with a good night and a Go Blue.